Good afternoon and welcome to the weekly business meetings of the South Carolina Public Service Commission, and thank you for joining us. Today is Thursday, November 7th, 2024, and it's approximately 2 p.m. Before we begin, would you join me in a moment of silent reflection? Thank you very much. First, a roll call of commissioners. All commissioners are present in the hearing room. Ms. Scarborough, if you would, please proceed.
Yes, sir. The first order of business is to set the next regularly scheduled commission business meeting. Staff recommends that the next regularly scheduled meeting be set for 2 weeks from today, Thursday, November 21st, 2024 at 2 p.m.
The next business meeting will be Thursday, November 21st at 2 o'clock.
Thank you, sir. Today we have 8 items on the utilities agenda and 4 items on the transportation agenda. Item number 1 is in docket number 2024-196E. This item involves final disposition of this docket.
Having heard item 1 as presented by Mr. Scarborough, do I hear a motion?
Chair Powers, I'd like to make a motion.
Commissioner Williams.
Thank you. I move that the Commission approve the amended application of Duke Energy Progress, or DEP, for approval of Demand-Side Management and Energy Efficiency Rider 16 as recommended for adjustment by the Office of Regulatory Staff, or ORS. ORS finds that overall the company's programs performed well and continue to encourage customers to use energy in the most efficient manner. These programs saved 389,805 megawatts in 2023. In its response to ORS filed October 24th, 2024, DEP has agreed to make the adjustments identified by ORS. The net effect of the approval of the amended application as adjusted by ORS will result in a residential rider 16 of 76.2 cents per kilowatt hour and a reduction of approximately $2.90 on a residential customer's monthly bill, assuming a 1,000 kilowatt hour usage. The non-residential rider 16 will be 0.027 cents per kilowatt hour. As part of the application approval by the Commission, I further move that the Commission adopt the following recommendations by the Office of Regulatory Staff to be incorporated in the Commission's order as requirements of the company as a part of this proceeding. First, in future filings, the company shall include revenue credits for non-bypassable charges from the Solar Choice Tariff. Second, the company shall evaluate the recent accelerated increases in non-incentive costs and propose changes to better manage those costs. Third, the company shall continue to seek and implement innovative ways to market its cost-effective program offerings to boost customer participation. In addition, DEP shall work with the DSMEE Collaborative on the following: discuss the means and method of cost allocation of the DEP DSMEE cost among the rate classes and requires that DEP work with the DSMEE Collaborative. The goal of these discussions should be to confirm that costs are being properly allocated to the classes of customers that are the cost drivers. Second, perform an evaluation of the incentive structure and benefits associated with DSMEE programs, particularly the Program Portfolio Performance Incentives, PPI, and the Program Return Incentive, PRI. The results of these evaluations shall be provided at the time of the next DSMEE mechanism review. I further move that a hearing is not required pursuant to South Carolina Code Section 58-27-870F. A formal commission order will be issued detailing all the final details and rulings of this decision.
Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Commissioner Williams. I believe in the second paragraph on the third line, I think I heard you say 7.62 cents and it's 0.762 cents. If that's
I did read it that way. If what the chair is saying is accurate, I accept that friendly amendment.
Thank you very much. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by no, the ayes have it. The motion carries.
Item number 2 is in docket number 2024-237E. This is a request from Lockhart Power Company for expedited consideration of an accounting order approving accounting treatment related to true-up amounts received from Duke Energy Carolinas, LLC.
Having heard item 2, do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Belser.
thank you. On August 13, 2024, Lockhart Power Company filed a petition seeking approval of an order approving Lockhart's proposed accounting treatment of certain true-up amounts received by Lockhart from Duke Energy Carolinas, LLC, related to coal combustion residual charges. Coal combustion residuals is a term where it's also known as coal ash and commonly referred to as CCR. Lockhart has a long-term full requirements wholesale power purchase agreement with DEC. Lockhart has received a refund for the benefit of its customers from DEC of $3,148,240, including interest, as part of the annual DEC true-up process for calendar year 2023 under the DEC power purchase agreement. Lockhart's liability for CCR charges incurred by DEC as of June 30, 2024 through December 31, 2028 is estimated to be $3,026,900. December 31, 2028 is the end of the term of the Duke PPA, pursuant to which Lockhart is responsible for a portion of DEC's CCR charges. Lockhart has booked this amount of $3,026,900 on its general ledger as an accrued liability 232 account. In other words, Lockhart has received from DEC a total of $3,148,240, the true-up amounts, for the benefit of Lockhart's customers, but Lockhart also has an accrued liability to DEC for CCR charges through December 2028 of $3,026,900. Lockhart believes and offers for Commission consideration that refunding large amounts to customers over a period of 12 months, as its Schedule 0 currently allows, not 0, Schedule O currently allows, and then returning rates to their normal levels, plus increasing them to cover the future CCR charges, could potentially cause rate shock, would be confusing to Lockhart's customers, and would make it difficult for certain customers to manage payment of their bills. By its petition, Lockhart seeks an order approving accounting treatment that will allow Lockhart to stabilize customers' rates by flowing through a portion of the true-up amounts to customers over the next 12 months and using the remainder of the true-up amounts as an offset against the future CCR charges. A summary of Lockhart's proposal is attached to Exhibit A to the application and will be included in this directive. Lockhart offers that its proposed accounting treatment will benefit Lockhart's customers in the following ways. First, Lockhart's customers currently are receiving a credit of $89,474 on their monthly bills as a result of accounting treatment approved by the Commission in Order Number 2023-455. That credit was scheduled to end in August 2024. Lockhart seeks approval to use $1,073,694 of the true-up amounts to continue flowing the same amounts to customers. As a result, Lockhart's customers would see no change in their monthly bills. And second, Lockhart's customers will not be subject to potentially large future rate increases as a result of the CCR liability. Lockhart seeks authorization to place the remainder of the true-up amounts, which is $2,074,546. Let me read that again. $2,074,546 in a money market or similar account, with any interest accruing in the account also applied toward future CCR charges for the benefit of customers. This account would be used to pay future CCR charges until the liability is exhausted or the account depleted. Any remaining amounts would be refunded to customers. ORS has reviewed Lockhart's petition and request and has issued discovery regarding the petition. ORS, by letter dated October 28, 2024, advises that it does not object to Lockhart's requested accounting treatment, but does recommend that Lockhart file an annual report with the Commission, ORS, and other interested parties. I move that the Commission issue an order approving Lockhart's requested accounting treatment, allowing Lockhart, 1, to use a portion of the true-up amounts in the total of $1,073,694 to continue flowing the credits to customers in their monthly bills, and 2, to use the remaining portions of the true-up amounts to establish an account in the amount of $2,074,546 to be used to pay future CCR charges until the account is depleted or the CCR charge liability is exhausted, at which time any remaining amounts, including accrued interest, will be refunded to customers. Additionally, I move that the Commission adopt ORS's recommendation that the company file annual reports with the Commission, ORS, and any other interested parties each January reflecting the balances as of December 31st of the previous year. Further, the annual report shall include the following information related to the settlement and true-up. The December 31 balances of the true-up charges for customers compared to the beginning balance for that year. The beginning balance of the customer liability account should show components of the liability account as listed in Exhibit A to the petition. For each component, show the date in which amounts were posted to the liability account and the initial dollar amount recorded. Next, a schedule identifying account numbers and names. Next, the true-up charges to customers for the various funds received balance as of December 31 of each year, and the estimated future runoff depletion of the liability. Next, the balance of the CCR liability as of December 31 compared to its beginning balance for that year. Next, the balance of the money market or similar account as of December 31 that holds the deposited funds compared with the beginning balance for that year. Next, schedule should include a roll forward between the beginning and ending balance showing the monthly activity and description of the activity. Finally, the Commission acknowledges and grants ORS's reservation of rights to review and make recommendations regarding the recovery of any expenses incurred by Lockhart and sought from Lockhart's ratepayers in the proceeding in which Lockhart seeks recovery. That's my motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Belser. Having heard the motion by Commissioner Belser, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion carries.
Items numbered 3 and 4 involve requests for confidential treatment that the Commission can take together. Item number 3 appears in docket number 2024-286E. This is a request from Central Electric Power Cooperative Incorporated for confidential treatment of certain portions of the application and exhibits dated October the 18th, 2024 and October 25th, 2024. Item number 4 appears in docket number 2024-287E. This is a request from Duke Energy Carolinas for confidential treatment of certain portions of its application and exhibits.
Having heard item 3 and 4 as presented by Ms. Scarborough, is there a motion?
Chair Powers.
Commissioner Thomas.
Thank you. I move that the Commission approve the requests for confidential treatment in utilities item numbers 3 through 4 as identified by Mr. Scarborough. A directive order will be issued for the application in the respective docket.
Thank you, Commissioner Thomas. Motion has been made by Commissioner Thomas. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion carries.
Item number 5 is in docket number 2024-270E. Staff recommends carrying over this item.
This item will be carried over.
Item number 6 appears in docket number 2024-294C. This item concerns the appointment of a hearing examiner in this docket.
Having heard item 6, do I hear a motion?
Chair Powers.
Commissioner Williams.
Thank you. I move that the Commission appoint Sandra V. Moser, Esquire, as hearing examiner in docket number 2024-294-C.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams. Having heard the motion, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by no, the ayes have it, the motion carries.
Item number 7 appears in docket number 2024-9E. This item involves final disposition of this docket.
Having heard item number 7, do I hear a motion?
Chair Powers, I'd like to make a motion.
Commissioner Williams.
Thank you. I move that the commission find, based on Dominion Energy South Carolina Incorporated's 2024 Integrated Resource Plan Update, the Office of Regulatory Staff Report, and all evidence of record, that Dominion Energy South Carolina Incorporated's 2024 Integrated Resource Plan Update is reasonable and meets the statutory requirements established by Act 62. I also move that Dominion Energy South Carolina include an analysis in its 2025 IRP update that adequately addresses the cost implications of the multiple compliance pathways and retirement scenarios under the federal requirements that are relevant at the time of the filing of the 2025 IRP update, potentially including the 2024 Effluent Limitation Guidelines Rule and the Clean Air Act Section 111 Rule. I further move that Dominion Energy South Carolina Incorporated consider and address in testimony or other appropriate manner the comments from all parties to specifically address the 8 recommendations raised by the Office of Regulatory Staff's report in this docket in the upcoming 2025 Integrated Resource Plan update. Finally, I move that any order provisions from previous Dominion Energy South Carolina IRP decisions that have not already been addressed by the company should be incorporated in any ongoing stakeholder engagement, potential negotiations, and in its 2025 IRP update. I so move.
Thank you. Motion has been made by Commissioner Williams. Is any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Chairman.
Commissioner Belson.
I'm a bit concerned about requiring Dominion Energy to further provide an analysis regarding the multiple compliance pathways and retirement scenarios with the federal requirements of the ELG rule and and Rule 111 under the Clean Air Act. I believe my recollection is that Dominion indicated in reply or responsive letter that it had already taken care of those or had done those different modeling assumptions in the original IRP, and I just am of the opinion those are not needed in the update, that they would perform those comprehensive analyses and evaluations in the next comprehensive IRP. So I would move that the paragraph dealing with the analysis in the 25 update with regard to the federal cost implications on the multiple compliance pathways, I'd move to strike that from the motion.
Is that offered as a friendly amendment?
No, sir.
Separate motion?
No, it's offered as an amendment. I don't know that it's friendly because it changes the motion. So I don't know that it's a friendly amendment.
All right.
At the appropriate time, I've got a comment.
Go ahead.
I debated that sincerely, and I'm going to, if it's appropriate, I'm going to read from a letter that the commission got on September 26th from the company. Is that appropriate?
That's part of your discussion. That's fine.
Yes, it is. In response to ORS recommending that Dominion update its EPA carbon rule case modeling assumptions in the 2025 IRP update to reflect the latest guidance available at the time the modeling is performed, the beginning of this section said the response is, in scoping the 2025 IRP update, Dominion will evaluate its assumptions concerning the GHG rule based on the latest guidance available and will review that guidance with stakeholders in the run-up to that filing. I think that's the primary point, and I think the difference between what I have said and what is in this response is the ability for the company to resolve this with stakeholders.
Yeah. And I don't have a problem with them taking it to the stakeholder group. I was hearing your motion as requiring them
Right.
to do these these additional analyses.
Right.
And that was where I was, I may have been confused on that.
No,
And-
you were not. I was just kind of trying to work toward a friendly amendment as opposed to,
Well, if they, I think that the stakeholder group, the discussions are definitely appropriate. I think what you read from the September reply, I can agree with that. I just can't agree with requiring these additional runs or analyses in the update like that. And that's,
can I,
and when I say I can't agree, that's just my thought, okay? I don't mean to be argumentative.
no, and this has not been a week to have a lot of those discussions. So I'm trying to suggest a friendly amendment.
Well, if you want the friendly amendment, I would just, can you not do a replace and insert and just take the paragraph as written and insert the language that you just read?
May I ask
Yes.
a question in the interim?
Commissioner Cast.
You know, thinking in terms of, you know, an update, what is the role of the update, what it should be? And I don't have a problem with either the proposals. But I would think, you know, as far as an update, certainly the intent would be any significant changes or anything that's changed significantly, whether that is some regulation or big industry coming in, industry's leaving, whatever the case, that it would be appropriate in any update to consider and do those things. That said, I'm going to settle wherever you guys work it out. I'm okay.
Well, I think we have a friendly amendment. Could you possibly restate with whatever language you're willing to accept what the motion would be, and let's look at it fresh?
Yes. Give me about a half a minute. Thank you very much. This is a very modest amendment to what I read, but I think it meets the spirit of what you are requesting, Commissioner Belzer. I also move that Dominion Energy South Carolina discuss with stakeholders its 2025 IRP update that adequately addresses the cost implications of the multiple compliance pathways and retirement scenarios under the federal requirements that are relevant at the time of the filing of the 2025 IRP update, potentially including 2024 effluent limitations guidelines rule and the Clean Air Act Section 111 rule.
May I ask, can you just read that one more time, please?
I can, and if
I
I look at it a
apologize.
little bit longer, I may come up with a better solution.
Okay.
Well, the main thing is, I think that the appropriate place to do this, and these discussions, is the stakeholder group. And I certainly agree with that. That's what the stakeholder group, is part of what the stakeholder group is for. So, but.
And that was not my intent, but that is acceptable to me.
Well, let's look back at the original language.
I find that this language is more specific regarding the known
Which
federal.
language?
The language that I've used is more specific with regard to both the effluent limitations guidelines and the Clean Air Act Section 111.
Are you talking about the original language you used or what you amended?
I'm just saying that
Or
I didn't
possible
change
amendment?
that section of what I read, and I prefer to work with what a modification to what I to what I read.
All right, well, would you just read your proposed modification again, or?
I will. And I think after I read IRP update, I think that's where we need a little bit further work. But I also move that Dominion Energy South Carolina discuss with stakeholders in its IRP 2025 IRP update. I changed something and I shouldn't have. I'm going to start over. I also move that Dominion Energy South Carolina discuss with stakeholders its 2025 IRP update that adequately addresses the cost implications of the multiple compliance pathways and retirement scenarios under the federal requirements that are relevant at the time of the filing of the 2025 IRP update, potentially including 2024 Effluent Limitations Guidelines Rule and the Clean Air Act Section 111 Rule.
I don't mean to be a pain here, but I'm a little concerned about adequately addresses.
Yeah, that's why I
mean,
said the problem is following that.
Can you just, can we leave out that adjective and just say addresses?
Yes.
And I think, and this is coming from the Dominion letter discussing their responses to all of the filings that were made from ORS and the other interested parties.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah, I think discussions in the stakeholder group on addressing those cost implications, I can live with that. Thank you. If that.
Mr. Chair and other members of the commission, would you like for me to read it again the way we just addressed it?
Well, if y'all have reached an agreement, the first thing I think we need to do would be see if we could withdraw Commissioner Belser's.
I ask unanimous consent to withdraw.
Unanimous consent.
My
Can I
amendment.
get
proposed
all in
amendment.
favor say aye?
Aye.
All right. Well, if you would read the whole motion.
I move that the commission find, based on Dominion Energy South Carolina Incorporated's 2024 Integrated Resource Plan update, the Office of Regulatory Staff report, and all evidence of record that Dominion Energy South Carolina Incorporated's 2024 Integrated Resource Plan update is reasonable and meets the statutory requirements established by Act 62. I also move that Dominion Energy South Carolina Incorporated discuss with stakeholders its 2025 IRP update that addresses the cost implications of the multiple compliance pathways and retirement scenarios under the federal requirements that are relevant at the time of the filing of the 2025 IRP update, potentially including the 2024 Effluent Limitation Guidelines Rule and the Clean Air Act Section 111 Rule. I further move that Dominion Energy South Carolina consider and address in testimony or other appropriate manner the comments from all parties to specifically address the 8 recommendations raised by the Office of Regulatory Staff's report in this docket in the upcoming 2025 Integrated Resource Plan update. Finally, I move that any order provisions from previous Dominion Energy South Carolina IRP decisions that have not already been addressed by the company should be incorporated in any ongoing stakeholder engagement, potential negotiations, and in its 2025 IRP update.
May I ask a question? And I'm not about to cause issue with you. But, when I heard you read it and then I, thought about that, under the federal requirements that are relevant at the time of the filing of the 2025 RP update, and then you go on to, discuss the 2024 Effluent Limits and Clean Air Act 111, which I have no problem with. But if they're going to evaluate the federal requirements that are relevant at the time of the filing, would that not include those, or did you want them distinctly?
Are you making a friendly amendment to remove the end of that sentence?
I'm just asking for clarification.
It would absolutely include those.
Okay.
This motion has a
microphone.
Thank you very much. The motion has evolved, and it would very much include those. And if you want to make a friendly amendment to remove it, to streamline it, please do.
Just for clarification, I'm fine with
Okay.
it. Thank you.
All right, having heard the motion as now presented, is any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by no, the ayes have it, the motion carries.
Item number 8 appears in a host of dockets, all of which are listed in today's agenda. Staff recommends carrying over this item as well.
Item 8 will be carried over.
Moving on to the motor carrier agenda, in Part A, we have 2 applications, one for a new Class E certificate and one for a new Class C certificate. We can address these 2 items together. Item A1 is in docket number 2024-288T, which is the application of LW Delivery Services LLC for a Class E household goods certificate. Item A2 appears in docket number 2024-289T, which is the application of Caretakers Transport LLC for a Class C non-emergency certificate.
As to items A1 and A2, do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chair.
Vice Chair Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, fellow commissioners, I move that the commission approve the applications for Class C and Class E certificates and items number A1 through A2 as identified by Mr. Scarborough. A directive will be issued for the application in the respective docket. So moved.
Thank you for your motion. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by no, the ayes have it, the motion carries.
In Part B of the transportation agenda, we have one request to amend a certificate.
As to B1, do I hear a motion?
Chair Powers?
Commissioner Williams.
Thank you. I move that the commission grant the request of James Edward Israel Sr. to amend its Class C taxi certificate number 7841 with a name change to read Norma Godbold Israel. The company is directed to file any updated information with the commission and the Office of Regulatory Staff as may be needed or required by the rules and regulations of.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams. Haven't heard the motion. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, the motion carries.
In Part C of the transportation agenda, we have one request for an extension of time. Item C1 is in docket number 2024-184T, which is a request from Carey Holdings LLC, doing business as All the Right Moves, Packing, Moving, and Storage, for a 3-month extension of time to comply with commission rules and regulations.
As to C1, do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion.
Commissioner Caston.
I move that the commission grant the request of Carey Holdings LLC, doing business as All the Right Moves, Packing, Moving, and Storage, for an extension of time until January 30th, 2025, to comply with the commission's rules and regulations.
Thank you, Commissioner Caston. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by no. Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, this concludes all business noticed before the commission today.
Thank you, Mr. Scarborough. With no further business and with the elections behind us, the IRPs behind us, let us all move forward as one people, one country, and in unity, return to watching lawyer advertisements. We adjourn.